call motion 76 on the role of trades councils. The General Council's attitude to the motion is to seek remission or oppose, and I will be calling the TUC General Secretary to explain the position. I understand POA are not prepared to remit. Is that right, Steve?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be moved by the POA, seconded by the Bakers. I'll bring Paul in on behalf of the General Council, and then I'm afraid I won't be able to take all the speakers who have indicated, but I'll try to do a balance between those who are for and against, and that will be CW, Prospect and FBU. Okay, over to you, Steve.
Thank you very much, President. Steve Gillan, General Secretary, POA, moving motion 76, and we hope that we can persuade you to support this motion. The role of trade councils is vitally important. A rich history has trades councils in the whole of Great Britain, actually. So if you go back to probably 1858 to 1860, where trades councils were founded in Glasgow, Liverpool, London, Sheffield, Edinburgh, and of course Manchester. And then of course the TUC were founded with a proud history in 1868, but it was Salford Trades Council that convened the founding meeting in the TUC at the Manchester Mechanics Institute. We should not be afraid of this motion. We should be embracing this motion, and I will explain why. It's just been explained in relation, and I've got to say, Paul's speech this morning, I think, was inspirational, but he did highlight some challenges to us. And Paul identified that we've got to grow this trade union movement. And the way we've got to grow it is not by being insular, but by embracing the resources around us. And that means embracing trades councils. Trades councils at the moment do not feel part of the trade union movement. It's only recently, actually, that they've been able to come to conference as a delegate to move a motion on behalf of the TUCJCC. One motion, that's all they get, and then they're not allowed to vote or speak on any other motion whatsoever. Now, I know that across the country, and let's take Scotland, for example, when the STUC was set up in 1897, it was actually done for a particular reason, and that's because they didn't like the ostracisation of trades councils in England at that time by the political parliamentary committee. From there, the STUC have 3 delegates from each trades council, 2 reserved seats on the General Council, and they can send 3 motions and 3 amendments. There's been no issues. The sky hasn't caved in Scotland, has it, with regards to trades councils? And most unions in this room organise in Scotland. And I don't see that it causes much disruption in the internal runnings of those unions. Yes, there may be 1 or 2 teething problems that the General Council may have to remedy, but that's not insurmountable. And I wait with interest to see what Paul's response has got to be on behalf of the General Council. I'm on the General Council, but unfortunately, I had to leave rather sharpish because there was a Wandsworth escape and I had to do some media. So I missed all the debate on that. But in reality, Mike Clancy set it out. It's not a rosy picture, is it? 12% density in the private sector. 45% and falling density in the public sector. Why aren't we embracing trades councils who, incidentally, they turn up everywhere. They campaign religiously as well. And yet we don't give them that voice. We should be inclusive, not exclusive. Why not embrace them? Now, I don't know who's who and who's going to vote, but there's certainly some opposition to this. The reality is, for me, there's time still during this debate to change your mind. We've got challenges ahead of us. It says the strapline, winning at work. We can only win at work if we're inclusive and we pull everybody together, coordinate everybody to fight together. That's when we will be at our best. So please support this motion. It's not earth-shattering. If it can work in Scotland and it can work in Wales, why can't it work in England? Please support.
Sarah, Bakers Union. The second.
President, Congress, Sarah Woolley, General Secretary of the Bakers Food and Allied Workers Union, proudly supporting the POA's motion. Congress, whilst I was at the STUC Congress earlier this year, I had a brilliant conversation with a number of trades councils about the work they'd been doing, the potentials of joint work in the future, and as a delegate was even given a booklet which outlined the work of a number of trades councils up there. I left wondering why we don't do the same. Trades councils are in our communities. They engage our activists to go further than being active in one union, but to work on behalf of the whole movement in the town or the city that they live in. In the Yorkshire and Humber region, we've got some amazing trades councils, and I'm very biased because that's where I'm from, and I know other regions do too. Sheffield created Sheffield Needs a Pay Rise, fundraised for an organiser who works with the trade unions in the city to build our movement in the lowest paid city in the UK. Leeds, and I know Jane's here, she does a phenomenal job for Leeds Trades Council, has created Leeds Get Organised, along with the many other initiatives that Trades Council has run over the years, that has drawn in young people to sign up and do organising sessions after May Day marches. Wakefield has created a fantastic climate group which is made up of trade unionists, climate activists, young people and community members. Hull has created a solidarity shop. Our trades councils organise picket line support. You don't have a picket line without somebody there from the local trades council. They organise our May Day marches, events like with banners held high in Wakefield, and if you've not been, get there next year. Ealing Trades Council does organised days. I appreciate that's outside of the Yorkshire number, but we've been working with them with Organise Now. These groups of activists in our communities think outside the box and innovate when it comes to building our movement. And as Steve said, we need them if we're going to grow even more. They get to take part as we do in Scotland and Wales, but not here. That's got to change. And whilst I'm stood here, thank you to the people that are active in our trades councils for everything you do for our movement every day of the year. Support the motion.
I call on the General Secretary to explain the position of the General Council.
Thank you, President. The General Council is asking Congress to oppose the motion. Now, many of us have been active in the Trades Council's movement. In my case, Wirral Trades Council 3 decades ago. Everyone in this room supports Trades Councils. Everyone in this room wants more unions to affiliate to their local Trades Council. Everyone in this room wants Trades Councils to support local union campaigns and deliver all the priorities we are discussing this week. But this motion isn't about that. It's about changing the nature of this Congress, a Congress of sovereign unions, democratically accountable to their members. Every Trades Council already has the opportunity to attend this Congress as a delegate of their own union, accountable to their union, representing their union. Now, currently, Trades Councils are represented at Congress by a delegate who's elected at the preceding Trades Councils conference to move their motion to Congress. Increasing their number to 3 delegates will give Trades Councils a larger Congress delegation than almost half of our affiliated unions. This motion would give a vote to Trades Council's delegates, but it's not clear in the motion how many votes they would have, who they would be voting on behalf of, or how they would be accountable for those votes. Most unions to this Congress will hold delegation meetings. They'll consider motions against their own union's policies. But delegates from the Trades Council's conference would be voting on issues, voting on motions submitted by affiliated unions, with no accountable structure to take a mandate from or be responsible to. The motion also calls for Trades Councils to have an automatic seat on our General Council. Congress, there are 28 affiliated unions who do not have an automatic right to sit on our General Councils. Each one of those unions is affiliated to the TUC, funds our campaigns, directly represents people at work. That's not the case for trades councils. They are not unions. They have a different job. They're not affiliates to the TUC. They do not represent people in workplaces. So please, let's support the work of our trades councils, celebrate the work of our trades councils, let's affiliate our branches to them and make sure that we send delegates to those trades councils, but please support the General Council position and oppose this motion. Thank you, Congress.
Right, calling CWU to speak, and then I'll be calling, can Prospect and FBU be ready?
President, Congress, Tony Kearns, Communication Workers Union, briefly to support. Patrick Roach moved composite number 1 earlier. He said, "We are united in working together to protect, defend our communities. We campaigned together, we organised together. And everyone clapped, and everyone cheered, and everyone carried the motion. Except here we are now, with the General Council telling us not to do that. Can't face both ways at once." We all know the attacks coming from the Tory government, debated on the minimum services bill, that we face unprecedented times. As Mick Lynch pointed out, they get away with this, they're coming to outlaw the trade union movement. So it is essential that we use every single method at our disposal to come together, to be united, to work as a collective. And you do not do that, Paul, by excluding people from that debate. You say it will change the nature of this TUC. There's about, 400 people in this room, and we're asking for 2 more than they already got. They've got 1, they're asking for 3, but those 3 are going to change the nature of this conference. I don't think so. And when you ask the question, who holds them to account? I'll tell you who holds them to account. The people who will elect them as delegates to come to this Congress will the people who hold them to account, exactly the same as it is now for the one person. And this point where you say, well, it gives them more than what a number of our trade union affiliates already have in this hall today. It doesn't take anything away from what those trade union delegates have got. It just opens up to make us more collective. You see, one of the issues I think we need to face, and I think it was what Sarah was alluding to, is we need to embrace, if you like, what goes on in our communities. Let's give you 2 examples. I think it was the Morning Star article this morning by Dave Chappell. If you look at a clerks dispute that took place down in Somerset, the amount of work done by the Mendips Trades Council to get public support and campaigning around that was tremendous. If you go down to Portland, where they've brought the barge in to house refugees and migrants, Trades Council down there are out in the streets, day in, day out, organising the communities and explaining to them how migrants are not the enemy. The amount of work and the value of the work that Trades Councils do in this country should be recognised, and it should be recognised by carrying the terms of this motion. See, we keep hearing how much we need solidarity, and we keep hearing about how much we're under attack, and we keep talking about inclusiveness, and we keep talking about togetherness. Well, here's our chance to prove it and to bring in those people into this Congress and move this movement forward as a collective, as it should be. We support.
Prospect. And then I'll be taking FBU, and then we will have Steve's right of reply. Yes.
President, Congress, Toby James, Prospect, he, him. I'm speaking to oppose this motion. Look, I understand where this is coming from, and I understand the immense value of trades councils. I'm a lay rep, and I'm a delegate to my local trades council. And Congress, last year we carried a motion encouraging affiliation to trades councils. I wanted to remind you of that while I have this platform. And those of you, lay reps, staffers, whose branches are yet to affiliate, get a pen and paper, or text or email your branch secretary and remind them to, because it's brilliant and it's what our movement's about. But Congress, this motion, let's look at our movement, and keeping an eye on our future, let's ask ourselves, what should we be doing? And how does this motion fit in? We need to be engaging the disenfranchised, the marginalised, people who feel there is no place for them, but not yet organised. We need to empower every working person in this country who is as yet unheard in our movement. Congress, trades councils are not where we find these people. Trades council delegates are already engaged. They know the movement. They are already trade union members, and accordingly, they are already represented here. The motion states that trades councils' total affiliated membership, were it a single trade union, would warrant a far larger Congress delegation. Congress, this is double counting. Again, every single one of these people is already in a union. I'm one of them. We are already represented. We have our delegations. We are already in this room. And further to this, Trades Council delegates are among our most engaged members. By double counting these people specifically, we are reinforcing the biases that exist in our movement. We are heightening the barriers that exist to engagement to others. Let's focus instead on creating space in our movement, giving a voice to people that do not yet have one, instead of simply duplicating our own. So please, engage with each other, affiliate to your local trades council, but reject this motion. Thank you.
FBU, last speaker in this debate.
Yeah, President, Congress, Steve Wright from the Fire Brigades Union. That our union has always recognised the power of solidarity and collective action. That's why the Fire Brigades Union, we support this motion that calls for an essential change in how we acknowledge and include trades councils within the TUC. The trades councils have been allies in our union's battles at local level for many years, both politically and industrially. Our General Secretary, who sits on the General Council, has sat on trades councils for decades, and he knows the importance of the role that they can take. And as Steve and Sarah have said, Trades Council has been present on all of our picket lines and all the picket lines of delegates here over the last year and a half. They've been organising with unions and providing vital support. And importantly, they are a vital avenue for extending solidarity amongst our movement. And what we have seen in our union, in times of our struggles, they have been present in bringing communities and the broader movement together. And that is absolutely a key role that they take. And the work of the role of the Trades Council has been mentioned by many speakers that have stood here over the last couple of days. And delegates have spoken the important role they take. So let's acknowledge that and let's support it. Trade councils provide an opportunity for grassroots activists to join the struggles of trade unions, to join the struggles of working people, and join the struggles of our class. They need our support and they need our commitment. So we support the call from the trade councils that they receive the representation that they deserve. A single delegate and one motion submission is hardly reflective of the influence and commitment that with our support and with our acknowledgement today, they can bring to our movement. So let's recognise that, not just with words, but with actions. So Congress, support this motion, recognise the important role that trades councils can have and enhance their ability to influence the direction of our movement. We support.
Yeah, right, Steve Gillan, exercising POA right of reply.
Thank you very much, President. In the right of reply, I'll try and address some of the issues that Paul raised. And to be fair to Paul, he's had off-the-record discussions with me about some of the issues. We tried to resolve them behind the scenes about a remit and different things. So I commend you, Paul, for doing that. But I come back to the real issue again. I mean, some of the issues is about, that Paul's raised, is about accountability, equality, and them having more rights than what 28 unions who don't have a seat on the General Council. Well, the reality is, no one's brought a motion about that. I've brought a motion through my union about this issue. And if there's things to be changed, then let's change them. We're quick enough as a trade union movement to criticise employers and governments for a race to the bottom. Let's not fall into that trap, because I see this, if this goes down, as a race to the bottom. Because trades councils I'll repeat again, do turn up. They coordinate different actions. I remember when the RMT at Dover manoeuvred within something like 24 hours, and the amount of Trades Council banners down there to bolster the crowds and what have you was phenomenal. They chased the far right out of Erskine up in Scotland. They chased them out of Liverpool, and they chased them out of other places. The work that they do is fantastic. Why can't we work hand in hand? Why can't we do that? Because I'm telling you, I've been chairing the TUCJCC annual conference for the last 5 years and attend most meetings throughout the year, and there is a frustration there. They can't always attend as delegates here through the trade unions because some of them are actually retired. People at Martin Mayer, people at Dave Chappell, decades of experience who can nurture young people coming along. And it's not as if there's a massive list to join trade unions in our communities. And that's where, if we embrace and work together, we can get communities doing recruitment for trade unions and entice more ethnic minorities into the movement, entice young men and young women, and so forth. Please, this is the beginning of a conversation, irrespective of how this motion goes. It's not going to go away, because I don't want to come back in 2 or 3 years when the trade councils have collapsed and people are ruining decisions that you've made the wrong mistake. Think carefully about what you're doing. Please support this motion, I urge you.
Right, Congress, we move to the vote on motion 76. Will all those in favour please show now? Put your hands down. Those against? I think it's lost, but it depends on wait, let me just look at it again. Sorry, can we take that again? All those in favour? It is lost. Put your hands down. All those against? I think it's lost. What do you think in terms of taking it? No. I think it looks, well, I think we need to go for a card vote, okay? Okay. Comrades and friends, we have a result. Votes for 1850. Votes, oh, you know that's thousands, don't you? Votes against 3137,000. So the vote is lost.